All right, we are back for round 3 of the startup competition, the final round. So I think first we have some unfinished business, which is announcing the winner of round 2. And if I'm reading the screen correctly, it looks like the winner was Brander. So congratulations, Brander. They'll be back on stage in a little bit. So this is our final round. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta make sure I'm all caught up here. OK, this is our final round. These are our media innovation startups. We had actually a little bit of a change where our last, one of the startups missed a connecting flight. So we're only going to have 4 startups, which, depending on how much you're enjoying this, is either a bonus or unfortunate. Let's just keep going. So next we have native advertising company Nemo Media, and presenting is Gabor Kassel. Maybe. Here it comes.
Hey guys. So I clearly did not get the memo about the dress code, because this is what we wear in San Francisco at startup competitions, not little dress shirts. Sorry, this is why we sent him to New York. My name is Gabor. I'm the CEO of Nemo Media, and we power native mobile advertising in applications with streams. So what does that mean? So you know what mobile advertising looks like today. It's these 320 by 50 banner ads that you see everywhere. And you probably find them really annoying because they block the access to the content that you're trying to see. And advertisers don't think they're great either because they're so tiny that you can't really tell your story and get your message across. And publishers don't like them because they make so little money. And I've been there because I was developing apps before I started this company. And mobile advertising, in terms of the money you were making, it just wasn't working. But one company has figured out mobile advertising. And that company is Facebook. And you've seen their ads in their stream on their mobile app. It's these beautiful native ads that are inside the feed. So you, as the advertiser, can tell your story with the image and the text. And the user can scroll the ad away if he or she is not interested. And Facebook likes the ad format because they make a lot of money. How much money? Over $1.2 billion in the last quarter alone, and growing 40% from quarter to quarter. But what if you're not Facebook, and you have an app, and you want native mobile ads in your application? Well, you come and work with Nemo Media because we power native mobile ads in applications with streams. So where does this work? What are the apps that this is relevant for? The apps where native works are news, social, messaging, dating, photo sharing. All of these have streams, and a lot of them are currently monetized with banners. They should monetize instead with these in-stream ads that Facebook does. And we at Nemo Media enable that. And we are specifically focused on applications, not on mobile websites, because 86% of your time on your mobile phone is spent in apps and not on mobile websites. So how well does it work? We're already integrated with large and small US and international apps. And our ads get them 3 to 5 times the money that banners do. So if you're making $1 CPM right now on banners, you can make $3 CPM with Nemo Media. This is because our ad format is similar to Facebook, and we can pitch those same advertisers on the same format. And especially Facebook PMDs are very willing to buy this ad format. So how does this work? What's the technology behind this? So we have an SDK. It's very simple to use. It's 30 minutes to integrate. It's 10 lines of code. And it allows you to put native ads in your application super easily. And we give you, as the publisher of the app, full control over the placement of the ads and the format. So we don't control the format or how often the ads appear. Then we have a full-featured dashboard where you can sell ads directly to your advertisers, or you can configure things so that we sell ads for you, either ourselves or through exchanges in real-time bidding. So to put this kind of into the context of the startups that you've seen today, you've seen TripleLift in the last session. And they've also found that native advertising works really well. And what they do is enable this on websites. We enable this on mobile apps, where this is much, much harder. You're going to see some DSPs up next on the stage. And we can work with them and bring them a much more valuable ad format and much more valuable impressions than just banners. So to kind of summarize it, if you have an app with a stream, news, social, messaging, dating, photo sharing, or sports, you can integrate Nemo Media today and run ads that make 3 to 5 times more money than you do with banners today. So we are a team of 8 former Google engineers and product managers from Android and AdMob, based in San Francisco. That's the shirt. We think it's time for better mobile advertising. We think it's time for native mobile advertising with Nemo Media. Thank you.
And just a reminder that if anyone has questions that they'd like to ask, see asked on stage, just tweet me at Anthony Ha. You know, feel free to follow me at the same time if you feel so inclined. And
he's pitching that all day long now.
I just,
how many followers? How many followers?
To action.
How many followers have you gotten today?
Not as many as you would think.
All right, all right. So.
No, this was not my idea. This is a last-minute thing. You could. All right. Anyway. Anyway.
Don't apologize.
Anyway.
Judges,
Media. Please.
So, native ads implies that it's native for the app, right? So if you're talking about a Facebook format, it's not necessarily going to be aligned with the game or the news feed or whatever. So how do you make sure it looks like it belongs in the app rather than it looks like a Facebook ad inside a new app?
Yeah, so that is the core thing that we enable. So with our SDK, what you do is you take your existing content cell, which is how content is displayed on iOS and on Android applications. You make a copy of that, and you bind that to our SDK so we can serve ad content into that. So you can configure what exactly that looks like, and you can configure where it goes.
So if I've got a very visually oriented app, are you going to pull the visual elements of the ad and not the text, or how do you?
So typically what you do is, the way you have this implemented is you have a layout of what your content looks like inside your stream. So you say, this is where the image goes and this is where the text goes. And that's a layout that's programmed into your app. And what you do is you make a copy of that and you bind it against Nemo Media's SDK, so we can take from the advertiser their image that typically they're using on Facebook and their text that typically they're using on Facebook, and serve that into this cell with the image and the text. And so we enable that.
So how does it look in a game, for example?
So we don't do games. That kind of goes back to my point. We do news, social, photo sharing, dating, local, sports news, anything with a stream, because that's where native can really play. We don't do games, and we enable these native ads for anything with a stream.
So Marissa Mayer was on stage yesterday with a famous comedian, Rob Norman, right? And Yahoo has an in-stream, in-feed-like ad format. Mm-hmm. How will you compete against these large dominant players who are not only doing it for their own publisher platforms, but offering it up to third parties?
Yeah, so Yahoo actually does not offer that up to third parties. So they have what they're selling with Gemini, which is what they recently released, is just against their own properties, both on web and mobile. What we do is work with mobile publishers in these categories that I just mentioned and enable native ads for them. Yahoo does not actually do this currently.
Okay, yet. How do you survive it if they did decide tomorrow to offer this to third parties?
This is actually very hard. The technology that we built is not super simple to build. And what we're doing right now is we're signing up a lot of publishers, and we're going to be there first. And our technology is really, really simple to integrate. There are some competitors that have kind of announced similar products, but they don't really have anything yet, because on mobile, this is much, much harder than just dropping an iframe into a UI table cell view and calling it a day, because that just doesn't work.
Okay, and I'll ask the same question I've asked others, which is on the technology platform to media intermediary spectrum, where do you place Nemo?
I would place this on the SSP side. So we enable publishers. We enable this new format for publishers, And in the long term, this is going to be kind of like you asked in the last session, this is going to be about RTBing off this inventory. And this is going to be about coming together as the industry to define standards around how to use native and RTB context. And we're actually in conversations with the industry around that.
Okay.
So what you're really saying is that the technology is really your primary USP. But I'm sort of thinking about what Terry said. You know, technology. Everybody's going to try to invent something like this, and I would think that the big guys would. So I'm just trying to think of what is really defensible about your proposition for the longer term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, like I said, we have this technology today, and you can integrate it today. I think the native competition is actually being decided right now. The industry is moving towards native, and for a lot of the publishers that we're talking to right now, and we've signed up a lot of them already, this is a build or buy decision. Do I build my own completely native product end-to-end and then try to sell it myself? Or do I use something like Nemo Media so that I don't have to build impression tracking, third-party impression tracking, impression verification, you know, IAB viewable standards. I didn't have to build ad serving, ad optimization, cropping the image to the right size. I don't have to build all of that myself, and that's what we enable, and that's what we make easy right now. So if you are a publisher that wants to have native ads today, you just come to us and you can have them running in your next app release.
What's the app that I should go download to see how you guys work?
Yeah, so the one we're talking about on our webpage is an app called Sports Feed, which is literally a feed of sports news. You can just scroll down and you can see ads served by us.
Is that an actual customer or just sort of a proof of concept?
Actual customer.
Okay.
Actually New York as well.
Okay. All right, well, thanks a lot. Oh, sorry.
And we have a number of large and small other apps as well that we're already integrated with. If you are getting pitched by a large news organization in the next month or so on, buying native ads from them, it's our technology powering it. So we actually are deployed in a wide variety of apps already today.
Great.
All right, thanks a lot to Nemo Media.
Thanks.
All right. I should mention, by the way, that at our request, they turned the air conditioning down up here, which I really appreciate. It's a lot more tolerable up here now, but it is getting a little hot, which is it's fine. But if you start to see people getting a little sweaty, it's not their fault. It's because we asked for it. So the second presenter in the session is Nplug, which builds real-time digital signage. And presenting for Nplug is Nancy Liu.
Hi, everyone. So I hear that I'm the only female presenter here. Second. Okay, well, I have to say, if only the ratio of my dating life was those odds, that would have been really nice. So I'm Nancy. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Nplug. At Nplug, we've built the largest network of intelligent, interactive digital displays that you'll find inside venues like restaurants, bars, cafes, shopping malls. Our vision of Nplug is to transform all one-way communication screens, which are all the digital displays that we see today, into intelligent two-way screens. And so how do we get into out-of-home? So when we came into building Nplug, we went to the Digital Signage Expo. And that is the industry conference for all digital signage. And my co-founders and I, we walked in, and the average age of people were 55 to 60 years old. And we said, that's a great industry to disrupt. And so for us, we said, OK, what's wrong with today's digital signage? Well, right now, it's all one-way communication. It's not interactive. You can't track the effectiveness of your ad. So we said, we're going to do exactly the opposite. So my background, I went to Berkeley. I studied engineering, business, and political science. It was a nice double major and minor, but I didn't really actually study. Spent most of my time building different things. Started a biotech company that got named Intel's top social innovation. And then by the time I was graduating, I had already hired way smarter people to run the biotech company, and I was looking for the next big thing. And so I met a very smart guy named David, who was a computer science MIT dropout and became a professional poker player. And so for him, at his company, he's all about data, statistics, and analytics. And so we joined together, and we started building this. And then we brought on board our co-founder, Zach Spitolsky. Zach, as a sophomore in college, built 2 of the top 10 most downloaded education apps in the App Store. So his focus for our company is to have great UI, UX, and beautiful design, because I think today's digital signage does not have good user experience, does not have a beautiful interface where I actually want to interact. And so when we started building the network, we focused, 1, on being able to track and analyze all of the ads that are shown on the screen. 2nd, we focused on the experience. Before, in digital signage, if you had an ad showing on the screen, it was just about brand awareness. But instead, it's 2014, and we believe all ads in the physical world should be trackable, it should be measured, and you should be able to have all of that data for you to analyze, and you can do A/B testing. So our network, we've got over 1,000 screens, several hundred locations. We're in 30 cities. Our company is based here in Los Angeles, but we've got an office in San Francisco, and we've got an office in London. And our network, you'll find them in Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf. You'll find them in Amoeba Music record store. You'll find them in high-end retail stores in Beverly Hills. Let's walk into one of our venues, the Beverly Hills Porsche, which is just right down the street. You walk in, and you'll see InPlug's intelligent display. It's about a 60-inch screen inside the showroom. And you'll take a photo of the Porsche Carrera that you're about to buy. You take the Instagram photo, and you say, hey, went to Transformation LA, went and got a Porsche Carrera for lunch, hashtag Beverly Hills Porsche, hashtag just another day. And instantly, that photo will show up on the screen. For our screens, we curate specific and customized content for that venue. We allow all the viewers to participate on the content of the screen. And for advertisers, that's important because now, based on the interactions that are happening on the screen, you can actually put specific advertising. So for example, when I Instagram the photo at Beverly Hills Porsche, right after my Instagram photo shows up and admiring the beautiful car I just bought, American Express ad shows up and says, hey, tweet at us, tweet this code, and you'll get 50,000 American Express points. So I'll tweet the code, and as I drive off with my Porsche Carrera, I've got 50,000 American Express points in my pocket. For our company, the next step is showing it in a beautiful dashboard. So for all the advertisers that we have, we make it a seamless experience. We allow you to instantly deploy any ad on our web interface. You can set the code for tracking and what that mode of interaction is, and then you can instantly deploy and sit back, relax, watch the analytics. So go to implug.com and experience the next generation of advertising in the physical world.
I'm glad we got to use those, if only briefly. Question from the judges.
Great pitch. Great pitch.
Thank you.
But place-based media is a segment of advertising that's littered with failed companies. And I love that you're trying to bring the interaction and the trackability to digital signage. But this has been attempted. It's been tried many, many times. Everyone's failed so far. And with 1,000 screens, it kind of you feel challenged in terms of getting a real media spend out there in terms of scale. And so for those reasons, I'm out. Oh, wait. This isn't Shark Tank. Sorry.
So I love to respond to that because that's exactly the reason why we came in. We talked to the companies, CEOs who built these failed companies, and that's because their business model was wrong. Their business model was just focused on making money on advertising, and they weren't showing how effective the ads were. For us, the locations actually pay us a monthly subscription for our screens. And so we have a set revenue that's coming in that's paying for all the equipment. Now you're probably thinking, why are they doing that? Well, it's because we made the interface so valuable for that location. Previous digital signage companies weren't focused on that. They said, hey, we'll pay you a monthly rent if you let us have this ugly screen that's showing ads. But for us, we said, we're going to help your location increase your sales, increase your customer engagement, And we're going to showcase all the beautiful, nice, positive comments on social media that's being said about you online and showcase in your physical location. So they paid us a monthly fee to be in there. And so the other part of our revenue is then advertising. And now we know, because people are already interacting with the screen, they'll look at the ads, and for the advertisers, it's a benefit for them because now they know that there's eyeballs on the screen, people enjoy actually using the screen.
How do you curate the content that's going to be displayed on the screen? Because you can have some pretty negative experiences if it's unfiltered, right?
We know you like to say inappropriate things, so we made sure to create automatic content filtering. And so there's two mechanisms that we have. So it's sentiment analysis, so nothing negative. If you talk about going to the bathroom, that's totally fine. We like that you enjoy TMI, but it won't show up on the screen. And for all of the locations, they can actually do also human approval. So they can set it so a human has to approve before it shows up on the screen. But 99% of our locations do automatic content filtering. And for all the curated material, the venue chooses the specific hashtag and keywords to show up on the screen. And there's a top bar on our screen that says this is what you tweet at to show up on the screen. And same for all the advertisers. It's actually, they don't even know that it's an ad. So when American Express puts an ad, it's an Instagram photo. And so it's embedded. And so it looks like it's part of the experience.
So what's usually like the lag between, or what's potentially the, how quickly could it go from me tweeting something to actually on the screen?
Instant, so it's literally a fraction of a second. And our screens, they are all connected into one central management system. So we actually collect over 200 metrics every single second from our screen. We share that with our venues, and we share that with our advertisers.
What kinds of locations are working best for which kinds of advertisers?
Yeah, so we have a lot of success with our restaurants and bars, and that's because there's a high dwell time. Our screens are in the main dining areas of these locations. So if you go on Wilshire, there's a great healthy place called Urban Fresh. You walk in, and the main dining area, you'll see our screen, and you'll be able to put your beautiful photo onto the screen, and everybody will be able to admire it.
So not a ton of tweeting from the highway then?
No, so some of our locations can decide, do we want it to be a geofence, or do we want anyone to be able to interact, and they get to choose that.
So if the location pay model is critical to your business as a dual revenue track, what happens when a competitor comes in and offers it for free, in particular for institutions like a Starbucks that have thousands of tens of thousands of locations?
And well, the reason we know this is because there are already dozens of companies that do that, and all of them failed.
Any other questions?
I'd just be curious what your plans are to scale.
Yes.
How many people are working with you now in the company, and
Yep.
What's the sort of status of your funding?
Yeah, so our company, we started 1.5 years ago. We've grown to 35 people. Clear Channel took 5 years to build about 200 locations with digital screens. We took 2 months and did the same amount. So for us, we're highly scalable. We work with big partners, locations that have many franchises, locations that are across the US. We've got 364 college campuses in our network. And so for the next step, we raised a $2.5 million seed round. And in terms of next step, it's all about revenue, growth, and focusing on the value that we provide for our locations and our advertising clients.
Thank you.
All right.
Great. One last round of applause for Unplug.
Thank you.
All right. Our third and second to last presenter, that was a really confusing way to explain that. Our third presenter for this round is Rare Crowds, which finds rare ad inventory at high scale. Presenting for Rare Crowds is Eric Picard.
It's nice to have fans. I'm Eric Picard. I'm the CEO of Rare Crowds. We are an advertising platform for buying and selling media. And what we do that's very different is that we can find inventory that's greater than 5 times more precisely matched against both audience and media goals of anything else that's in the market. We can do that using first-party data. We can do that using third-party data. We can plug into really any platform that exists. Probably almost every company that has been up here today, we could plug in and make use of them as an inventory source. We constantly test every impression that we deliver so that we're finding the best, most rare audience, the most targeted audience in the best locations. And we're doing that based on a combination of impressions, clicks, conversions, or even other actions, things like offline surveys. So the goal here is to fully automate the way that media is bought and sold, and to do it in a way that's extremely advertiser, agency, and seller friendly. Because as we're finding much more targeted, much better audiences, much more targeted location-based inventory, we're finding that performance, however that's measured, is significantly going up. Whether you're measuring performance based on CPA, or whether you're thinking in terms of targeted reach and finding the right audiences for your goals. Really, the trick here is to be able to do this across display, mobile, video, social, and any other emerging media that come up. This is my 4th startup. My first startup, Blue Streak, was one of the first rich media companies back in 1997, and then we moved into ad serving. So I've been at this for a very long time, and I spent about 6 years at Microsoft doing ad technology strategy and thinking about how the next generation of technology would work. And when I left, I decided to throw in on this. We have been in development on this technology for more than 2 years. We launched in November. Our first customer signed in December, which was a technology customer. We since have found that our business model, although we started out purely as a technology company, on the way to the technology story, we had this interesting experience where people just wanted to buy media from us. So we're actually sort of a feeder into our technology model where we can support direct media buys, where buyers can just simply get a full service buy from us. We also have a platform with an application that can be licensed on a percentage of media spend model. And then we have a pure technology license model where we can integrate with any vendors that you work with and combine the way that we find inventory across anything that you do. The company raised about $750,000 through individual angels. We found is that in this space, talking to venture capitalists, and many of whom I even had as friends, the space has been very focused on, the venture space has been very focused on almost this sort of app model of small investments. And doing a big infrastructure play like this, we needed longer time to do that. So most of our investors are industry insiders. In fact, there are a few in the room here who have been in the space for a long time and who really believed in this model of finding very, very targeted, very matched inventory that would automatically optimize against goals. When you think about the long term of what we've done as an industry, trying to find your marketing persona, trying to find that perfect match and do that in a way that doesn't require a massive number of people and that scales well, both from a buyer and a seller perspective, is very, very challenging. So the track that we've taken with that is to fully automate every aspect of it and to make it possible to reach large audiences, but also to spend large budgets at scale without any problems. So that music scares me. So I'm gonna just move right on to questions at this point.
Thank you. So this is going to be your last reminder of the day that should you choose to do so, you can tweet questions at Anthony Ha. I'm great on Twitter, as an aside. So I mean, if you feel like following, go ahead.
Please send in questions and also vote for us.
Oh, good. And so we have John Montgomery has given us another question, which is how does the matching work?
Sorry.
How does the matching work?
Well, we basically take marketing plans, RFPs, whatever source of goal information that we can get from an advertiser or from a media buyer, and then we create a very large, if if we want to get into the technical aspects, I can go there, but a very large graph of all the potential combinations of all of those attributes, and then we go and look for them in a fully automated way in whatever inventory source we're plugged into. So we can do that on exchanges, we can do that on direct to publisher buys, we can do that across display, mobile, video, social. We're a very agnostic technology.
So the advertising technology landscape is fragmented with a lot of point solution companies. You made the comment that you can work with all these various companies that have come before and after in terms of ad formats and buying capabilities. I guess my question would be, do we need yet another layer in the stack that's going to take up some of the space? I believe there's a slide. In terms of...
Well, there's this company, Luma Partners,
Yeah.
and they've got a really complex graph.
Yeah. So, no, but seriously, if you're yet another player in that ecosystem of those dollar flows, how is that additive? Where are we getting to efficiency?
Sure. Yeah, as you know, the landscape's really complex. Every individual constituent in the market we've talked to is working with lots of vendors, anywhere from 6 to one publisher I talked to had 153 vendors that they work with. Our opinion about that is that unless you can bind those systems together in a way that's cohesive and actually allow people to go and actually operate on top of them in a very efficient manner, that we as an industry are stuck. So, I've been at this a long time. I've seen lots of different systems. I've seen lots of different workflows. At the end of the day, if you can normalize across all of them, if you understand how to essentially exchange objects and metadata, campaigns and placements and line items and insertion orders into each of these systems, you can translate between them. And that's effectively one of the core pieces of our technology, is lets us actually manage that.
We have another question from the audience, which is, do you have a problem with limited inventory given how filtered the technology is?
Yeah, and that's the key intellectual property we've developed is the means of finding these rare audiences, but finding lots of them. So, as you imagine, you layer more and more targeting data on top of a piece of inventory, the amount of available inventory shrinks. So the graphs that we create of potential pieces of inventory from just standard campaigns range, we're running a bunch right now that are in the 150,000 possible pieces of inventory size. So when we do that, we can automatically find those little pockets and aggregate them together so we can spend at scale.
Where are you in your life cycle of the product? Where's the product in the life cycle?
The product launched, or the platform really launched in November. We sold our first customer in December on the technology side. And now we've got, since February 24th, which is after the holidays, everybody started coming back to the offices. We've got 7 brands live right now in active campaigns, and we've got 6 more that are supposed to go live in the next 30 days. The technology is baked. We've been working on this actually since June of 2011. Huh.
So better targeting, higher yield optimization, those all sound wonderful.
Yeah.
But as we've talked about with some other startups here, I guess the question that Wenda has raised a couple times is defensibility and competitiveness. I mean, there are a lot of companies, some of which are public and traded with multi-billion-dollar market caps that do kind of like what you're saying you do.
Yeah. And
how do you compete with those giants?
Absolutely. I mean, the problem in this space is when you try to summarize anything, everything sounds the same. We've taken a radically different technology approach here. So we do what's called combinatory optimization. It's an area of computer science that's very underfunded. We have literally the top computer scientist in the world in this area who holds most of the patents in this space from the past is our chief scientist. We're very, very focused on finding extremely cutting-edge technology solutions to this space, but doing it in a way that's very automated and very easy to consume.
Any other questions? Great, thanks a lot.
Would you say the application of your technology would be like adding rocket fuel to, oh, never mind.
Well, it would be like something like that.
All right, one last round of applause for Rare Crowds. All right, this is it. We are at our final presentation of the day. And the company is Run, which is a mobile-focused programmatic ad technology. And presenting for Run is Dan Schwartz.
All right, we're honored to close it out for you guys. So perhaps just to start, I'll take you back a little bit to the last time we were on stage at the 4A's. It was in October at the data conference in New York, and we weren't scheduled to participate at all. We were asked in the 11th hour to precede the programmatic panel because no one in the space was willing to stand before you and demo what a live programmatic media trade looked like. No one. Not the presenting sponsors, not anyone else they called. And for us, that was unacceptable. That's the premise of our business. If programmatic media is ever going to reach the heights that everyone anticipates that it will, you have to get closer to the data. You guys deserve to know what's going on. The notion that you could buy in real time but not know what you were buying until tomorrow, that's unacceptable. And to your credit, I think, on the heels of our being able to expose that reality to you, you guys have asked for more. You've demanded it. And now we see articles written all the time about the importance of real-time analytics. So we stood on stage, we demoed, we bought, we bid. What's interesting is that we set a bid at 30 cents thinking that we were going to try to fill some seats to the conference at the last minute. We won nothing, interestingly. So we raised our bid price and we won quite a bit. However, through most systems, you wouldn't know that you didn't win anything until the conference was long gone. So real-time analytics aren't just something that's neat or cool. They're actionable. It allows us to perform better, and it allows us to empower you guys with greater insight. And that's the most important part of it. You know, someone tweeted that they took a shot every time someone used the word platform, and they're ripped right now. What's interesting is if that person would take a shot every time someone talked about what it means to be a disruptive company, I think they'd be sober. I think that's sort of ironic, given that that's the premise of this conference here. So I'd love to speak for a minute about what it means for us to be a disruptive force in the advertising technology world. Now, Terry's pointed out, and it's absolutely true, there are behemoth players out there. But I think history in ad tech shows, and not just ad tech, lots of industries, that it's not the incumbents who force innovation. It's the upstarts. And so, you know, we're proud to be a startup in that regard, but we absolutely compete against the biggest companies in the space. For us, what it means to be disruptive is to every day think about what are your clients going to be asking of you in the coming months? And so to stand on stage and show you what actually goes into a live media trade, that's now something that I think is people have woken up to and appreciate and ask for and demand. That's great. So a few things about what we think that means to us. Innovation is not a one-time event. I would not show you the same demo here, even if the panel allowed us to, because we're always thinking ahead. We're always disrupting ourselves. So a few things that perhaps might resonate. What are your clients asking of, or in the near term will ask of you? Hey, I've got this CRM file. You've done an amazing job of helping me convert it into a cookie pool. I know they're shopping on their iPad. Help me reach them there. And most advertising technology companies today say, we can't. There was someone in one of the earlier panels who said, you know, the smartest minds in mobile are focused on, you know, how to reach that audience, but because they're not a persistent cookie, it's just going to be years, and so what the industry needs is a stopgap. Well, we agree that the smartest minds are working on this. We've got our engineering talent thinking about this morning, noon, and night. We totally disagree that what the industry needs is a stopgap. What the industry needs is a solution. Now, mobile spend is only going to get to the point where everyone forecasts that it will if that solution is in place. And I'm actually here to tell you that we've got a solution. So when clients say to you, I want to activate my audience, that first-party data, which is the most valuable thing they've got across all screens, we'll say, absolutely, let's do it. So today we're happy to announce the fact that we're unveiling what we're calling our cookie translator product. So a client can now take that cookie pool, we can sync with it from their derived device IDs, and then buy against it. We've got an always-on feature to this in our platform. Yes, I said the word platform, but I think that that's only once, because I think that what it really means is it's a consolidation point. There is so much fragmentation out there. It must be daunting for you guys to figure out who fits where. So I think what people are really looking for is one partner who they can execute across all screens, normalized, and reach their audience at scale. We've got an always-on feature to this, which means if you're buying a desktop campaign through our system, we're always, no matter what, even if you don't ask for it, generating device IDs, mobile identifiers, so that you can then retarget the best performing desktop segments on mobile. That's what your clients are going to ask you for. And that's what we're absolutely thrilled to be able to offer a solution against. You haven't heard a lot about us in market. That will absolutely change. We just hired a sales leader, but we're relentlessly focused on providing ad tech products that are key to what your clients are going to be asking you for. Thank you very much for staying and for your time. We appreciate it.
Questions from the judges?
Yeah, that's a very tall order, and you are going up against giants. Where are you now in terms of your plan, your funding, and your acceleration plans?
Yeah, I mean, we're a business. We're a 3-year-old business. We make a lot of money. We're not shy about that. We're proud of that. Anthony knows because he covered it last year. We have one outside investor. It's Verizon. And that relationship, I think, is special and it's unique. And it's what allows us to get outside of the probabilistic world that a lot of companies have to live inside of when they apply math if they don't have first-party login information. We think the carrier is the login equivalent.
That prevent you from doing business with AT&T?
They're live in our system right now.
Other questions?
So transparent programmatic media buying sounds like a DSP.
Sure. We have DSP functionality, absolutely. DMP functionality, all of that.
Yep. So last count, there's about 80 DSPs. What's you mentioned a few things. You mentioned mobile, you mentioned first-party data, you got a matching product you're announcing.
Yep.
What's the distinctive capability that you offer versus those other 79 in the
Sure.
market?
I think if a DSP were to be constructed today, it would look like ours, and that it's mobile first. Not mobile only, mobile first, because that's where the tougher technology challenges lie. You have to check the boxes on the desktop side of things. That's how you do cross-screen, cross-channel. That's how you actually normalize the space. And then video we think of as that sort of connective tissue that sits across both. So I think it's the speed, it's the transparency, it's the exposure, it's the fact that we are the opposite of a black box. And I think that's, we're really focused on being able to be a collaborative type partner. We have DSP functionality. We have agency veterans who work on our team. I think part of what we've really appreciated along the way, and I think clients have too, is that we can help make these complex technologies be less intimidating. Again, if programmatic media is going to be 80% of how digital media is transacted by 2017, it's up to ad tech companies like ours to make it more approachable, not more confusing.
And so in that instance, then, is your business model percent of spend, fixed fees, or are you arbitraging the delta?
Yes.
Okay, all of the above.
It depends on certain clients absolutely want to self-serve login, pull their own levers. It's a platform fee. Other clients want us to guarantee delivery against certain parameters, and because we've built a really comprehensive forecasting tool, we do that. There's an arbitrage there, but we guarantee delivery and kind of remove the uncertainty from the real-time nature of how inventory is transacted. And then certain clients demand a dynamic CPM price type model with full flexibility and transparency. We support all of that. I think you've got to.
When you say mobile first, are you in-app, outside the app? How do you do device IDs? How do you track a user on mobile?
Yeah. So, there's a probabilistic, approach to this. There is machine learning algorithms. I think the verification layer, given our unique relationship with our single investor, who happens to be the biggest carrier in the country, has a lot to do with how we're able to then get outside of that probabilistic approach. Most inventory is in-app. We see that slowly shifting. And I think what's interesting now is...
So do you have an SDK that goes inside the apps? Or how
you do that, and then we work with third parties like Has Offers. It really depends. Typically, because we're buying media in real time, there isn't enough time to get into the app that way. But we work with third parties. We support all of that. I think that's what it means to be a comprehensive platform in this day and age. You have to be fully flexible.
Any other questions?
Sounds like a mini Zaxxas.
But yeah.
Right?
We'll take that as a compliment.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much,
Thanks,
Taran. All right, that is the end of the presentations. We have a few last things to take care of, and again, you guys are going to do the heavy lifting. So we have 4 startups to vote on this time, and again, you can use the app or you can text 22333. That's 22333. The startups were Namo Media, which is native mobile advertising, and Plug, which was real-time digital signage, Rare Crowds, which was targeting rare inventory, and Run, which was programmatic advertising with real-time analytics. Judges, did you have any favorites?
I love disruption, so I like all of them. But I have to say, I have a fascination with the digital out-of-home space, and I do believe that interactivity is overdue in that space. So I think I kind of favor that one.
All right. Terry?
So by far the best pitch was in Plug. I think Nancy did a great job. Dan did great as well. I do think that people who bring unique science, I mean serious science, to media buying can make a big difference. We've seen that now with some scaled companies. So I'm excited to see what Rare Crowds does and Run for that matter. And of course, you know, as we heard before, content is the future. So Nemo, I'm sure, is in a bright spot. And you mentioned, you know, he mentioned it's probably not a huge company, but if people need to pick it up, it's probably future business for us.
So this is a much harder group to judge because there's some deep technology that you need to really get to know to make
Right. Or hopefully there's some deep technology.
a judgment call. You'd hope there's some deep technology here. But I think the best pitch, I think, N-Plug, I think, was a great pitch. The question of the out-of-the-home market has been really, really tough on VCs. We've lost hundreds of millions of dollars in that market. Her angle is interesting. It limits her market because very few vendors are going to be able to afford it. But it's by far the best pitch. In terms of the best technology, I would have to say, or the best potential technology, either Rare Crowds or Run, but I'd need to get to know more.
All right, well, I think we've finished the voting for the third round, and N-Plug is the winner. So congratulations to N-Plug. So let me just explain what's going to happen now. We're actually going to bring all the winners up. So that's Payday, and don't come up yet. Don't get too excited. Brander and N-Plug, they're all going to come up. They're actually going to give us 30-second versions of their pitches. They didn't know that until I just said that, but that's what they're going to do. Wow. And then we're going to vote again, and we're going to choose an overall winner. And again, they're going to win nothing, but they're going to be the overall winner. Before we get to that, though,
Anthony Ha.
Yes.
Oh, never mind.
there are a few people I want to thank. First of all, I want to thank the judges for sticking up here with me. They've made it fun. They've been, good-natured, but they haven't been afraid to. They haven't pulled their punches either, and I think they've made it hopefully fun for all of us. I want to thank Howard Marks, who helped connect us with some of the LA startups who you saw on stage today. And most of all, I want to thank you guys for sticking around, for voting, for participating. I mean, this happened because you guys made it fun. So give yourselves one last round of applause. So we're going to call the startups up. And I know that you guys have not had a chance to use the noisemakers as much as maybe you would have wanted. So let's bring Payday, Brander, and N-Plug onto the stage with the noisemakers. All right, you guys. Like I said, we could have sprung that on you that you're going to have to do the really short version of your pitches. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first, or can we reach? Or should we just? All right, is everyone okay with that? Everyone feels that's fair? Ladies first? All right, please, go ahead. Do we want to get 30 seconds on the clock, or is that doable, or should we just, hold on, I'm going to do it.
I'll time him.
Okay, here we go. You give her the signal when she
Go.
N-Plug is built the largest network of interactive intelligent screens for the physical world. You'll find our screens in social venues, including restaurants, bars, cafes, and retail stores. We focus on providing our advertisers an effective way to measure and analyze the ads. We did a 4-day campaign for Woodchuck cell phone cases. Within those 4 days, we were able to increase their web traffic by 400% and increase their sales by 70%. So go to nplug.com and experience how effective your ad can be on our platform today.
Good.
All right, we'll just work down the line. So.
Testing. Brander is a mobile network of social media influencers at every level. We work with very, very hyper-targeted individuals on different social media platforms. what we do is we push branded content to those individuals that makes sense for them. They have the option to approve or deny those campaigns at leisure. They can customize their own content so that it comes off in an extremely organic way, and we do it at scale. So we have thousands of people post about specific things, specific brands, specific companies at specific times and create massive conversation across social media.
Wow.
Great.
All right, and Payday.
I don't know if this is intentional, but when I sit on the stage and everybody's doing this, I feel like Haman for anybody who gets the joke. I'm happy to appreciate that. So,
All right, you've got 20 seconds. 20 seconds.
All
Go.
right. Payday is the world's largest mobile ad engagement platform. We work with over 150,000 developers. We power all of the advertising for Intel and AppMobi. We've worked with large brands like Amazon, State Farm Insurance, Procter & Gamble. We have 20 people, $12 million raised, and our main office is here in Santa Monica.
Before we vote, I did realize there's one last group that I want to thank, which is all the other startups who participated, who were such good sports, and I think, gave some really fun presentations. So a round of applause for all the startups. So we're going to vote in a second. I want to give the good judges one last opportunity to ask any lingering questions they might have. I'm going to start with Robert Graham, which is another question from Twitter, which is, were you on The Bachelorette?
Yes, I was. Briefly. Didn't last that long.
Judge questions.
I don't have any questions.
No questions. Okay. Well, then
That's it.
I think we have one just for why not? I'll tell you again. Use the app or text 22333. Get your votes in. We'll give you a few more seconds. While people are voting, and we're going to make them continue to stand there awkwardly, judges, what did you think about the presentations today overall?
I thought the presentations were pretty good. I mean, realistically, given the size of our fund and where we'd like to invest, I think probably the most likely check that we would write would be to Payday.
So you know who to follow up with afterwards.
It's not too late to change your votes, audience.
I think there was a big disconnect, a non-association between the quality of pitches and the quality of business models. At the end of the day, Amy's only going to fund high-quality business models. It's great. It helps if they were pitched well, but a crappy business model, well pitched, still no substitute for a great business. And I think we had some folks that had some very interesting technologies, but they could absolutely use some help, crafting the story, telling the story in a concise way that helps people get that.
What did you?
And you can just call MediaLink at 1-800,
Beyond sort of general kind of polishing and storytelling, was there anything you would identify as something that was maybe missing from the pitches that you wanted to see?
Well, they didn't follow the typical technology pitch. They didn't talk about total addressable market or anything like that. But again, we're in advertising. We all know it's all up and to the right. So I guess that I'll give them a buy for. I think it's really important for companies in this fragmented space to identify which principle they serve. Are they on the sell side? Are they on the buy side? Are they helping marketers with better targeting? Are they helping publishers with yield? Are they helping consumers with some unique app? I think you've got to identify who it is that you primarily serve, and that was a little bit lacking today. That's something to focus on.
One of the dirty little secrets is we fund entrepreneurs, right? First and foremost. The idea is secondary. Execution is probably just as important as the entrepreneur. So really what we're looking for is the passion in the entrepreneur, their ability to execute, and the idea is tertiary. So stories like what Nancy told are very, very important. How you think about the market is important. It gives us a sense of who the entrepreneur is rather than just a good idea.
Right. And I mean, I think some of them are probably thinking about the fact that they were also presenting to an advertising industry audience, even though the judges were investors, but they still want to hear the story, right?
Yeah, but see, here's a test. I'm a VC. You're pitching to a bunch of customers. I want to see you how to sell your product to your customers, right? If you can't sell your product to your customers,
yeah, and if you're not passionate about your business, then I'm not going to get passionate about it. So that's pretty important.
Right.
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I'm always looking for is are new companies solving problems that exist, or are they entertaining themselves? And I think a few of the companies that we saw today, I didn't feel that they had the potential to be companies. I felt that they were features or point solutions, and I think we don't need a lot more. I mean, Terry's logos are falling off the charts. So you know, I'm hoping we see some companies that, and I think we did a few today, that are solving problems that exist, but they're newer problems. They're not just sort of add-ons to the Lumascape.
Right. And your favorite is?
Oh, I mean, I really love Nplug, but I think Brandex is probably
Brander.
where I would
For some reason, they're showing up with X.
Brander.
It's not actually called Brandex, so that would be clever.
Brander, sorry.
Okay, this is really close. So what I'm gonna do is I'm literally gonna count down from 10, and then whoever has the most at that point is gonna be the winner. Okay. So we've got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
And the winner is Nplug.
How about that?
Thanks for being good sports, guys. Since I have literally nothing, maybe we could just go down the line. You could tell us how people can find out more about your companies. We'll start with Nplug.
CEO at Nplug.com, girl at Nplug.com, anyone at Nplug.com. It'll get to someone on our team. Go check out Nplug.com. Thanks.
All right.
Anything branderapp.com is associated with what we do.
You can talk to my agent. Go to our website, payday.com.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.